Hey, welcome everyone to another masterclass. Elevate your magnetic confidence. And I don't know about you, but we all could do with a bit of more confidence. I know that I could in certain situations, and it's natural to be more confident in one area of our lives and maybe a little bit not so much in other areas. So I don't know about you, but I'm an introvert. And for us introverts, being confident can come across a little bit harder. I've had this meaning and interpretation wrapped up around what it means to be confident. And I've seen people who are extroverts, and I thought, wow, like I can be this because it just doesn't feel natural to me. And it took a while for me to understand that actually I don't have to be wild and loud, and I can exhibit my confidence in a very different way and still come across as confident. So please do put in a chat or later on in the comments if that resonates with you. If you're an introvert and you think like, how on earth will I be as confident as someone who's extrovert? And that's not possible to a certain degree. And also we attach so much meaning. What does it mean to be introvert? And that can be. So if you agree, disagree, please put in the comment section or later on. So would like to know what are your views around that. And please do also put in a chat, how does low confidence show up for you? Is it self-doubt? Do you doubt yourself? Do you procrastinate? Do you sabotage yourself? You second guess your decisions? If you run a business, are you avoiding going live? Fear, that could be another one. Which fear exactly? Is it fear of success? Fear of judgment? Um, Confidence is often linked with lack of self-esteem, lack of trust, and I can certainly speak to that. Years ago, when I struggled with my confidence, I certainly doubt myself a lot. I didn't trust myself that I have what it takes to create a life that I want for myself, but that linked to deeper issues that I needed to deal with. So I'll be really curious, how does low confidence shows up for you? Are you being hard on yourself? Are you shooting on yourself? All those are signs of confidence issues. And if we struggle with all of this, which are just symptoms, then we are not drawing the opportunities that we could have. We fear judgment, so we then engage in people pleasing, and then we resent ourselves for saying yes when we really meant no. Again, go back to question yourself, so you're not putting yourself out there. And if you've got a business, you're not organizing masterclasses like this, or you're not putting lives out there, or even the videos or posts, because you question yourself, you perfect, you procrastinate because you don't trust yourself. That leads to stress, anxiety, money issues because you're not drawing the opportunities. All of this is obviously really frustrating. And I definitely speak from experience because I felt incredibly frustrated with myself that whatever I did, it seemed like, well, it's not working because I've tried this and I've tried reading books and I've tried watching various videos and working on myself, thought I did, and that didn't really work. And the big question that I have for all of you is, what does that cost you? What does have to happen in your life? How frustrated do you have to get for you to say, well, enough is enough? Um, Consider, where are you going to be in 3 months, a year, maybe 3 years, if you are not going to deal with this? Fear cost me money a lot. Exactly. Fear is huge. It's one of those innate emotions, feelings, if I can say, that are inbuilt for protection, because if we fear unknown, then we keep ourselves safe from potential danger. Unfortunately, a lot of the dangers or perceived dangers that we fear today are not real. They're imagined. And I mean here about fear of being criticized, fear of picking up. Oh, yes, we may feel a little bit uncomfortable if someone says something to us, but we are not going to die, as if, back in a day when we lived as a hunter-gatherers, the fear kept us alive, because if we went somewhere when we knew there is a potential danger for the animals to attack us, then obviously that could potentially cost us life. However, most fears irrational, and they keep us stuck in perceived comfort zone. And then we don't put ourselves confidently out in a world. We hold ourselves back. We keep ourselves small, and that's what I did for many years, and felt very frustrated with myself, because I didn't know how can I put myself forward, because I didn't understand where all those emotions and fears are coming from. And it got to the point when I had to ask myself this question: what all of those behaviors and emotions I keep engaging in cost me? What doesn't have to happen in my life for me to say, okay, Evelina, this is enough? Dave and everyone else here, what doesn't have to happen for you to say, okay, I have to pause and ask myself some questions, because it's all about asking ourselves the better questions. And if you still struggle to say, I am not sure if that still is me, if I'm struggling, and you're not sure about your beliefs and your values and where you are at, the best way to identify where you are in life is to look at your life, look at your health, your relationships, your relationship with yourself, your bank account, because your current situation will tell you exactly what you are struggling with. So if you're struggling with relationships, there are certain values and beliefs that may need to be looked at. The same, if maybe your business is not where you want it to be, you're looking for a job and you are not really getting there. Again, there may be some questions needs to be asked about what's going on behind the scenes, and what I mean by that is in your mind. And I do want to bring to you a quote by Carl Jung, which I think is incredibly powerful, because it speaks exactly to what I'm talking about. And the quote goes something along those lines of, until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you will call it fate. And what does that mean exactly? So everything that we do, the way we think, everything is a habit. So we've got habits of behavior, habits of thought, even the emotions that we feel can be habitual. So when we're in a habit of water, when we are in a habit of being not confident, paired with feeling not good enough, all of this directs our life from the unconscious life. And roughly around 60% of the thoughts that we have are the same, and they are repeated. So, for example, if you say to yourself, nothing ever works out for me, you doubt yourself every single day, you've made a decision, and then you're like, I'm not sure if this is good, and you back out, and you keep changing your decisions, you don't trust yourself, and you repeat this every single day, that will impact how you show up in the world, and as a result, how you interact with people, what opportunities you're drawing in, how people relate to you, because how you relate to yourself, how you see yourself, that's how everyone else see you. So everything is a habit, and that is incredibly important to understand, because 95% of who we are is unconscious. And sometimes we can see it because sometimes it can become conscious. But most of the time, of the deep-seated beliefs and habits, we are not fully aware. And in order to kind of identify that we might have some limiting habits and limiting beliefs, is to look at your life. So, okay, the question is, how do we create those beliefs? Because I guessing no one here says, I want a limiting belief of nothing ever works out for me and creating money, attracting money is difficult. So I didn't want that belief, yet I had it. So how do we get those beliefs? So there are three main reasons or ways how we acquire those beliefs. And one, which is hugely influential, that we are all exposed to, are our elders, our parents, our caregivers, people who we are surrounded by from the day we are being born. Because if you imagine, once you were born, you had to learn from someone how to relate to yourself, how to relate with your world. You watch your parents or your caregivers, how they related in terms of money and love. So you've learned by observing. So you heard things, you watched things, you felt the emotions between your parents and between you and your parents. And that is how you've learned a lot of your beliefs. And again, there's another quote, and I can't remember who said it, that says, "Give me a child before the age of 7, and I will show you a man." Because for the first few years of our lives, we are operating at much slower brain waves because we need to learn about the world. And it's that state when everything is just like an open book. So you are like a walking, talking microphone, a camera, and you just absorb informations. And so if your parents struggled with money, then that's what you learned. Money means struggle. If you observe your parents arguing, not really showing love to one another, this is what you learn about what love means. And it doesn't mean that it's good or bad, it's just what you've learned. The other way we learn beliefs is environment. So if you came from largely working class, maybe poor environment, for the most part, this is where we stay. If you were born in a rich environment with a wealthy parents, most likely this is going to be your reality when you grow up, because you hear that saying, poor stay poor and rich stay rich. And this is because why? Because we observe this is our reality from the day we were born, and we don't know any different. And another way we learn a lot of their beliefs is entertainment, films, stories. So let's say if for us women watching Cinderella and Frozen these days, that's the film that a lot of the young girls are watching. That's what they will take from what that means. Was it the one with the dwarfs again, when a prince comes and save you by giving you a kiss. And if you maybe 5 or 6, when you still an open book and you learn this is what you're going to take. Well, love means being saved by a prince that comes on a white horse and saves you. Obviously, I'm exaggerating, but you never know what a child is going to take from a film like this. So are no right or wrong beliefs, they just are. The same goes to habits. There are no right or wrong habits, they just are. However, they can either help us in the pursuit of success and happiness and money, or they can hinder our efforts. So for the mind, there's no difference. It's just a habit. It's just a belief. And because we have it, the mind is going to fiercely protect it. So that's why the change is so hard. It's no right or wrong, it's just is we attach the meaning. We may say smoking is bad, or being in a habit of anger, having angry outbursts. We may perceive this as bad, but for the mind, this is just the way you developed, created a habit of being in anger, and that's it. It's no good or no bad. So you can put in a chat what habits you have that you would like to change, and they are feeding into your low confidence that you are aware of, because sometimes we are not aware. Like for me, it was the self-doubt and feeling not good enough that I had to do a lot of work around, that fed into me struggling with being confident because I didn't trust myself. But everyone is different, and why you in particular may struggle with confidence will be uniquely relatable to you, because I cannot tell you for a fact that you are struggling with low confidence because there is self-doubt or there is procrastination. You may tell me that this is what you're struggling with, but only until we actually start asking questions and look into whether we can identify exactly what is going on for you. And, once we learn this, it's hard to change by ourselves. I've tried it, and many people have tried it. It's so important to have someone helping you, guiding you, and asking the right questions, because changing from the same level that the problem was created doesn't really work. We need to go at the higher level and ask better questions. Plus, so many of us, and I was as guilty as anyone else, we misuse our imagination. So let's say if you have a problem, what we do as humans quite often is we imagining the worst case scenario, how things will go wrong and how we have to prepare in what to do and how to behave in case things go wrong, and we're preparing the plan B. But by imagining over and over, we are telling our mind that this is what we want because we imagine it all the time. If we worry, or we're anxious, or we're depressed, we keep rehearsing the past. We keep imagining the past, how someone hurt us, or when something happened and then you don't know how to move on. By thinking about this, imagining, visualizing over and over, this is what is keeping us stuck. And that's what's familiar to the brain. And brain prefers what is familiar because it knows how to navigate it. And that's why, again, going back to change, this is why the change is so hard. So that makes sense. If you've got any questions around us, please put in a chat box or in a comment section later. And so some of you may be thinking, well, okay, but how can you help me? How, your program is different and you can help me to build that magnetic confidence. So I'm pretty sure that most of you, most likely, try to change your behaviors. We all done the New Year's Eve resolutions and we hit the gym, and by the end of January, the gym is empty again. Because few weeks pass and you're like, I can't be bothered. The weather is bad, it's snowing or it's raining, and you're back to your old selves because you are trying to change your behavior. And if your environment is not very supportive, so let's say you've got a partner that is like, just stay in bed, stay with me, you can go tomorrow. So that is obviously not very helpful to you. And if your beliefs are, and you may not be very aware of this, that exercise is boring, you don't really want to do it, maybe you feel conscious about how you look, and you are not someone who's in a habit eating healthy and exercise, then changing a behavior usually is only short-lived, because when we change the behavior, most likely doesn't affect our beliefs, our values, and our identity, because that's unconscious. When we change our unconscious, as in the values, the beliefs, the habits, we remove any unhelpful beliefs and habits that may hinder our efforts. That trickles down back to the behavior. And that's, if you imagine, it's an NLP logical level as a pyramid. At the top is identity, beliefs, skills, behavior back to environment. So changing from the environment up usually doesn't work. And I'm sure you know this because you've tried this and I've tried it many times. When I tried to change my behavior and it didn't really work. Unless I've already had supporting beliefs around something. So, like for me, exercise is not a problem. I may go away without exercising for a long time and I can go back into it with no problem because I have supporting beliefs around what it means to be healthy and exercise. So, I hope that makes sense. And also, as we go through life and you want to, let's say, go to gym, as we mentioned, in January, and which is coming up, it's November, your mind will delete the thought and generalize incoming information. So you may tell yourself on a conscious level, I want to get fit, I want to eat healthy, and I want to go to the gym. And incoming information by the brain is going to be deleted, distorted, and generalized to fit your idea of who you are in terms of someone who's healthy, someone who's exercised, and someone who's going to the gym. So if your belief is, I'm not someone ready to exercise, it's hard, I can't be bothered, it's difficult, I love pizza, and I don't want to give up on pizza, and I want to keep eat pasta. So then you've got conflicting beliefs because on one hand, you've got certain beliefs around eating certain foods, and then other beliefs, maybe conscious beliefs or conscious need to lose some weight. And your unconscious beliefs, values will always win because they are part of your map of the world. Based what we were talking earlier, how your beliefs are being shaped, which is your environment, your caregivers, and films that you watch. So everything that you've learned during the first few years of your life are forming your map of the world. And every belief and habit coming from that part of your identity, your personality will always win every single time. And also, what's really important to understand is that your map of the world is not the reality, because my map of the world is going to be very different to yours or Dave. And because, we grew up in the different countries, we grew up with different caregivers, and we've seen the world from a different perspective. We heard different things and we've seen different things. It doesn't mean that mine is any better than yours. Is just different, and our beliefs and values may not match. And that is really important when you're forming relationships, because if your partner's values may be very different to yours, then there will be a clash. And you can see that quite often people get divorced because they've got different values around money, around how to bring children up, how they want to spend time together, and also things like people do not discuss those things before they get married, which is unfortunate. So how do we change? How do we go about actually changing? So first thing that you can do by yourself, you can actually start yourself better questions. So if you've got a belief that you suspect that may not be helping you, ask yourself, do I know absolutely true that this belief is true? Is this belief supporting me? Is this belief hurting me? Do I need to hold on to this belief? Who would I be if I let go of that belief? So that those are some of the questions that you can do a lot of journaling around, and they will show you a lot about where you are at. So take 5 minutes in the morning or in the evening, quiet down your mind, take a few breaths, and ask yourself some of those questions around your beliefs and your habits. Is it mine? Do I need it? Does it help me? Does it hurt me? Who would I be if I let go of this belief? Or what other beliefs would be more supportive to me? And changing beliefs is really important to do from a place of gratitude and feeling good. Because if we are being hard on ourselves and frustrated, and we beat ourselves with a very long stick asking why I haven't changed yet, it's going to be even harder. So it's really important to be in a place of gratitude and acceptance. Okay, this is where I am at the moment. This is where I am with everything that's going on around my life. And then by repetition, over and over, because you've learned to be here where you are by repetition, by repeating the same words that you say to yourself, by repeating the same habits, by doing the things the same way every day, by thinking the same thoughts every day. This is how you got to be here where you are today. So it's going to take a bit of repetition from a place of acceptance and gratitude to change. So this you can do by yourself, okay? If you need deeper work, then you want to work with someone like myself that can help you to navigate your unconscious mind, because we need to find the root cause of your beliefs or habits or anxiety or that self-doubt or procrastination. If you cannot get to the root cause by yourself by asking yourself better questions, then you need to find other methods like I do hypnosis, where we can go to the deeper parts of your unconscious mind, find the root cause, process the emotions, process what happened, and let go. It's really important to process it and let go, because holding on to it is keeping us trapped where we are today. And once we know where certain behaviors or patterns are from, and we choose to continue to engage in it, then that is your choice, because it's no longer unconscious. You're aware of where you are at, and you have to make a conscious decision every day to practice a new way of being, a new way of thinking, a new way of identity. And that is going to take repetition and a bit of work. So it's not a magic bullet. It doesn't happen overnight. Some people change a lot quicker than others, but it still takes work. So what I have to offer for you is a 3 months program where we do exactly this. We find a root cause of your problems. It's a highly personalized program. We analyze your values, your beliefs. We rebuild your personal power, because so many of us give our power away. We worry about what other people think, and we give ourselves away. So we're rebuilding our power by figuring out what are your values, beliefs, habits, by rebuilding your identity, ways of being that are going to support your vision for the future. So we look at clarity, we get exactly clear what is that you want and what beliefs will support you. Because once we remove those unhelpful beliefs, we need to replace them with something that is going to help you. I look into how you can learn to support yourself, because so many of us are so hard. We're shooting ourselves. We beat ourselves with a very long stick. So you need to learn how to take care of your needs, how to do less better, and nourish your mind, body, and soul. So there is a few parts of the program, but it's a highly personalized to your needs. And it's all about making yourself non-negotiable while magnetically confident in how you show up for yourself and in relationship with yourself and in a relationship with others. And that then will affect what opportunities you keep drawing into your life, because you are standing in your power and you're not taking any BS from yourself, most importantly, and from other people. Plus, it's all about building that emotional resilience, because emotions will happen, life will life, and but it's all about being resilient and being able to take care of yourself. And as my mentor says, I cannot eat for you, so it's up to you what you're going to do with this information, how you're going to decide, and what you're going to do with all of that. And I will leave a to um, link to the consultation if you want to, hop on a 30 minutes call with me one-on-one, when you can ask me questions and ask questions personalized to you, how that exactly is relating to you, where you are today, and into your problem and your confidence, and where you are today and your circumstances. So I hope this is really helpful. And Dave, if you have got any questions, then please do pop a question in a chat. And otherwise, I will see everyone on my next masterclass, and I hope see everyone soon again.